Hi, this is Audrey Forey. I am with the Manitoba First Nation Education Resource Center, and I am the Special Education Literacy Coach. Welcome to the webinar titled Early Literacy and Home Literacies. This is a learning story with a book titled The Good Luck Cat by Joy Harjo, starring Cassidy, Hunter, and Ariana. One of the things that I would really like the listeners to pay attention to during this webinar is the reading continuum. And if you'd like a copy of this, just please send me an email and I can send one off to you. I'll show my email at the end of this webinar. So when you look at these different stages in this reading continuum, you have the pre-conventional, which is usually around ages 3 to 5. Emerging are ages 4 to 6. Developing are ages 5 to 7. And beginning is ages 6 to 8. If you would like, you could take a chart like this that you see, and just when you're doing your observations, you can check off what the student is achieving at each of those stages and what are some of the things that you might want to be working on them with. The other part of the reading continuum is for the later years. So bridging would be ages 8 to 10 all the way up to independent, and that's where they're reading alone, choosing their own books, reading by themselves, enjoying them, things like that. So if you really like to see a copy of this, just send me an email and I can send this off to you. So here's a story. This is Cassidy and her mummy. Cassidy's 3 years old. She's really excited to read this story with her mummy. She had a friend visiting her that day. Her name was Ariana. Cassidy sat down on her mummy's lap and made herself very comfortable. She's staring at the photos of the page and she's listening quietly to mummy reading. As she gazes at each new page, mummy turns the page. So as you can see, this is an emergent literacy. So just starting off with an interesting and a familiar book, something that they would choose. Reading also is very personal. As you can see, Cassidy sits on her mummy's lap, and that really signifies that social, cultural, and helps enhance the thinking and language processes. All of these are all rolled up in one cozy, comfortable session. So as you can see, in the next slide, the two young girls, the emergent readers, Cassidy's pointing to a word and she's saying it. So this is a book that she's familiar with. Mommy's reading a story to Cassidy and her friend Ariana. Both the girls have started understanding those concepts of print. Their eyes are moving from the left page to the right page. They're looking from top to bottom of the page, and they have an understanding of print knowledge. So here, vocabulary, listening, and reading comprehension is happening. So as you can see, the girls, as the adults reading the page, they're looking at them, they're naming those objects that are pictured, they're articulating what they're seeing. They may not be accurate, but they're looking for that from their parent. They bring books to an adult to read, and after reading those books, they may ask to read it again, and that's fine. If they like to read the same book over and over, that's great. So in this slide, Ariana, Cassidy, and Mummy Ariana's getting very interested in the book. As you can see, that Cassidy's friend is really interested in what's going on in the story. The girls are hearing language being spoken, which helps learning to read easier in later years. Cassidy's pointing at the pages as her mom's reading the page. Cassidy points to a picture and she says, "Look, monster," and then looks up at her mom for clarification, to which her mom says, "Yes, that is a monster." So just for some guidance, something that parents may want to do is to ask questions for their children to answer, or answer questions children may have. So if you have an additional language, you could also try read in your first language. So really, children at this age, they very much rely on pictures to convey meaning. So they demonstrate awareness that print conveys meaning. So what we're going to do now is I was going to have the story The Good Luck Cat being read in a virtual session, but just because of time, we wouldn't have time to do that. But what I wanted to just share is that this story is now being introduced by the mommy to her daughter and her friend, and it's about The Good Luck Cat, written by Joy Hargio. Some cats, as we know, they have the 9 lives. They're supposed to be good luck. You pet them and good things happen. Woogie is one of those cats, but as Woogie gets into one mishap after another, everyone starts to worry. Can a good luck run out? So this book was written from an acclaimed poet whose honors include the American Book Award and the William Carlos Williams Award. It celebrates the special relationship between a young girl and her cat, and it is a modern Native American story from a member of the Muscogee Creek tribe. Cassidy's listening to the story about a cat. Mom has introduced the new book to the girls. As Mom is turning the pages, she talks about the pictures in the story. Even though the story is above the girls' reading level, it is a very interesting story with great photos, as you can tell by their attentiveness to the story. The story displays cultural significance. So what Mom did, and I didn't ask Mom to do this, she just knew to do it on her own. She introduced the new story. She looked the book over, each page, just to gain their interest. She spoke to the pictures and answered questions that they may have. So Cassidy and Ariel love to hear the stories. Ariana, as you can see in the background here, she's moving in quite closer. She seems to be very comfortable and wanting to know and see the story. She's appearing to feel safe and secure, and she's very comfortable with what she's seeing. Both these girls are very engaged, and they're staring at the book. They're both listening intently to the story. Now just remember, older children can sit for longer periods, as these girls are around 3 to 4 years of age. Cassidy and Ariana they have sat for quite a long time. They've now listening to a second story being read to them. Younger children, however, may not be able to sit for long periods, and that's okay. Even if you can show them the photos as they age, they'll be able to sit longer. So this is an example of a pre-conventional stage in the continuum. You can see that they're emerging, they're looking for meaning, they're gazing at the pictures, and they're listening and responding to the story. So Mommy's pointing to a picture in the story. Both the girls are gazing over each of the pages. As you can see, they're looking to make meaning to the word that Mommy is pointing at. This is also an example of social and emotional well-being. And you can see that with the girls, both of them very, interested. Their mom's explaining things to them. They're feeling really confident about the story being read to them. Cassidy and Ariana are listening to Mummy. Mum is pointing out a character in the story. She turns to the girls and they both look for her for more understanding of the word she is describing to them. So as you can see, they're really using their thinking caps right now. They're merging their thinking with the content. They're using comprehension strategies to turn that information into knowledge. They may ask questions. They may seek information to build that knowledge and understanding through the reading, the listening of the story, and viewing those pages. All of a sudden, Hunter shows up. Hunter is Cassidy's brother. He was busy playing off in the corner on his video game, and part of the story is when the cat survived being shot with a pellet gun. Weechie finds out that the cat is okay. But as you can see, just hearing those words, it got Hunter very interested in wanting to know what the story was about. And if you can remember your reading continuum, being an older child, Hunter scans the page and starts looking at the photos in the story. He was absorbed in what was happening in the story. So he's making connections. He jumps to the front of the book because he wants to see what the title is. Hunter wants to look at the book. Cassidy's big brother is looking at the title to see what this story is about. He's looking at the cover to see what the title is, and this doesn't seem to bother the girls as they're so engrossed in the story. And Mom's smiling away because she's wondering if this is interrupting our session, our reading session, and that's fine. This is a very good learning opportunity. And there's Hunter. So this is a very good example of promoting well-being and belonging. So there was no shooing off anybody. She was reading. They were all sitting on her lap, engrossed into the story. Now Hunter's reading the story too. Everyone is interested in learning about what happened to the good luck cat. The girls and Hunter are all interested in listening to the rest of the book together. So when you read stories like The Good Luck Cat, you're bringing home language and culture to every reading transaction, and it's very comfortable to be asking questions of the text. Hunter really likes this book too. Hunter's now taking some time to read the story from the beginning. Ariana seems to want to hear the story again. As you can see, everyone is still interested in the book. These children may ask to have the book read to them over again. So here we're promoting, or the book is promoting social responsibilities and diversity, learning about one's own culture. When a child reads, when children come to school, they will already know something about the world of print from unique environments, and you will find it worthwhile to value that knowledge. Children who have listened to stories being told and who can retell stories in their own way also have a big advantage. However, if those kinds of experience have been limited, there is opportunity in the classroom through one-on-one interaction or small group or whole group settings to make up for limited prior opportunities. If you'd like to continue your learning, here are some links. These are from the Education Manitoba government, and it gives information about the development of children's language. Also, there's Listening and Speaking: First Steps into Literacy, a support document for kindergarten teachers and speech and language pathologists, and both of these can be available online at those links. Egase. I am the Special Education Literacy Coach at MFNERC, and I can be reached at, for any more information you'd like, audreyf@mfnerc.com. And here's a link to the story as a virtual read aloud. Can also be found here at, there's a link here for a YouTube video. So I thank you and thank you for listening. Thank you.